Today is going to be a lot of fun. We're putting to the test professional kitchen gadgets, and to do that, we've got one of our normals, but better than that, we've got Chef Philly.
We have a professional chef. We've got 100% more chefs.
Lift the cloche.
I feel like we should do that. You know that thing where you go...
3, 2, 1.
How did that go for you, Mike?
So we've got a massive tub here. We've got this big tube.
Oh, gosh. Oh,
What does it say?
a potato peeling machine.
Ooh.
I feel at a disadvantage, and I thought going into this, you were going to know every single one.
I've never seen or used a potato peeling machine.
Great.
This is the Metcalfe Potato Rumbler.
Rumble. We're going to rumble some potatoes.
Let's get ready.
So arguably one of the easiest processes in the kitchen, peeling potatoes.
Yeah.
But
on volume.
laborious.
Takes a lot of time.
Time consuming. If you rush through it, you end up with a lot of waste because you're actually peeling off too much. In theory, this saves you time, money and waste.
Why is it plumbed in?
We're about to find out.
What I can see down at the bottom here is like, there's some like grit, like almost like a grain.
So, Philly, we're coming into that wonderful time of year, one of my faves, the likes of new potatoes, Jersey Royals. How would you prepare those? They've come out of the soil. Would you peel like a new potato, or is it more of a little bit of a scrub?
A Jersey Royal is a smaller potato, so I'd probably just leave them with the skin on. It's got a delicious skin. But anything like a Maris Piper or anything bigger, generally take the skin off, unless you want a skin-on chip.
And all the time, potatoes grow under the ground. So they always need a bit of a clean and a scrub, whether you're peeling or not. Essentially, this is a big scrubber. It's got a big abrasive base, and sloshing around inside of it with some water and some spuds, it should do 4.5 kilos at a time.
Wow.
And up to, they claim, 180 potatoes an hour.
You've got a restaurant opening. I mean, would this come in handy? Is potatoes on the menu?
Potatoes are always on the menu. Yeah, I guess if you're having a lot of chips, this would be excellent for a kitchen. A hotel would love this. There is a warning sign.
Please read, because I haven't yet.
Warning! Risk of injury. Moving parts can crush and cut. Do not place hands in
What?
peeling chamber during
Assumptive.
operation.
What is important is things like if you're in a professional kitchen and a chef has a necktie, you don't want that to get caught into big machinery. Long hair, you certainly wouldn't want that to get caught in. So you've got to be careful with these things, but hey, now you've read the warning, we're good. So the whole kit needs to be plumbed in. It has a constant stream of water running through it, and legal requirement, it has a valve on it that stops it from being able to push water back up.
Here we go, we're getting water.
Here we go. Okay.
Once you've got the pressure of the water right, you shouldn't need to hold that there anymore, Mike. Lovely.
All right,
Great.
here we go.
Now, you can switch a button on, your green button for go, and you can throw your spuds in. Now, experienced cooks, we reckon, can peel a potato in about 20 seconds. This should do 4.5 kilos per load.
Are you up for it?
In about a minute or two.
Let's get peeling. So the water is like coming through. Oh God, we're rumbling.
Roughly.
The potato rumbler is live.
Let's get him in. Get him in.
So the beauty of this is you can have them rumbling away while you're getting on with other tasks. Should take 2 minutes or so, and then you can throw in another 4 to 5 kilos of potatoes. So it claims to do 86 kilos an hour, which is an awful lot.
And the water's coming off. It's like absolute. It's scum
Looks
water.
like beer.
But at the same time, what is it that's causing that to foam up?
So it might be a bit of starch.
Yeah, it's got to be the starch
Got a bit of
coming out.
starch, right? Have a little peek. That's completely.
Yeah, go for it.
When you're happy that they're suitably peeled, pop the lid back on and open the door while it's still going.
Are we fully peeled? We're fully peeled.
We are peeled.
Oh, they've been fluffed as well.
Yeah.
So what they say is you absolutely want to make sure there's no stones or grit going into that machine.
Sure.
But otherwise, your potatoes can go in. They don't have to be scrubbed first. Give them a couple of minutes and then they'll spit themselves out clean and good to go.
That's madness.
And supposedly, the serrated design of the chamber reduces potato loss, but as they roll round, like pebbles and marbles, the more they roll on the shore, the smoother they get and the more even they get.
I would say
Really
that
nice.
they're 90% or 95% perfectly peeled.
The dinks.
It was just the little eyes and the dinks, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a technical term.
There hasn't been chunks of potato falling off. It's just sort of, you can see the skin.
It's a light grind.
And a light grind. And it's really quite satisfying, a texture. Going through the process and looking at the end result, it's still really...
It's a really satisfying potato.
Yeah, it really is.
It would make a beautiful roasty. I could see a really, really fluffy one. And I mean, I don't think you'd really have it on a counter surface. You'd have it in a wet room, on the floor, or like raised up slightly so that you can use it more efficiently.
And what other stuff would be done in a wet room?
Maybe vegetable slicing, that sort of thing.
just
So all
anything
your
that needs
vegetable prep would be in there, yeah.
If you have a very efficient production line, think Henry Ford and everything he did, everyone has one perfect job. If you have a system, you can, well, quite literally bash through 86 kilos without risk of taking your finger off on a peeler, trying to do it too quick, or it just taking too much time.
Also, when they're coming out, as you said, they can go into a bucket of water and it can remove the starch and you get a fluffier potato, a fluffier chip.
And
Just
stop them
soaking it.
oxidizing, all those things. You just have to set your kitchen up if potatoes is your thing and you want 50 to 80 kilos per hour. It's a lot.
Just by soaking them in water, it takes more of
Yeah,
the
if you
starch
go
out.
into a restaurant kitchen, into their walk-in fridge, they'll have all their potatoes peeled in a bucket of water.
I am
Top
learning
tips with
things.
Philly.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you know what? It was such a flashback. I've not been in a big hotel kitchen for years, but you always used to trip over the buckets of potatoes on the floor. Now, the rumbler is for a humble ingredient, the potato, which
How
is pretty
much is
cheap.
it? Yeah.
So how much do you reckon it costs? Bear in mind, all of our gadgets today are very expensive. We'll come to that, but we have been able to hire them today so that we don't have to find a corner of the studio to keep them in afterwards.
I'm thinking
It's thousands, isn't it?
3 grand, 4 grand?
I think £3,000.
Yeah. Should we go 3?
You could do 172 kilos an hour for that. You could have 2 of them. It's just £1,571
It's a
and 78 pence.
Right, but load up. Wholesale.
£1,500. I mean, you can buy second-hand cars for that.
Yeah,
This
true.
just peels potatoes. What do we think?
But if you think about how much you pay a commie chef to peel your potatoes, that's way more than your 1,500.
Yeah, it doesn't need a performance review at the end of it. So great.
So, is Metcalf Rumble Potato a winner?
Well, I mean, that is the only question. Isn't it a peeling gadget, or does it leave you in a tumble?
It's appealing. It's
I love it.
fantastic.
I think we should move on to something else. Number 2,
It's even bigger.
you know what to do.
I'll closh you whip.
Okay.
1, 2,
We'll
3.
try.
What we got?
I think I know what this is.
I'm now fascinated to know whether you've seen it or used one previously.
I have used one previously.
That's what we were hoping.
So the gauge on the side and the fact that it goes up to 6 makes me instantly think of pasta rolling.
Okay, yeah,
So dough in there.
sure.
But then why the hell?
So I would think it's going to be a pizza, and you would put the dough in here. It thins it out and rolls it out to a round shape, and then this would go down, and this would roll out thinner, so you get a rolled out pizza dough.
No way.
And the nature of rolling in one direction means you basically just elongate it. So the first one will elongate it, then it flips and turns so that when you elongate it again, it comes out round.
Oh, this is exciting. I've not used one this fancy.
That is really cool. I didn't. Is there a place for that? I guess it's just en masse then. You
a
just
pizza
need.
restaurant.
Yeah, but I was thinking,
If
you know,
do you know how much pizza chefs like?
they don't all do it by hand.
No.
No, well then.
Have you popped your head into a Domino's?
The thing is, if you've got
Yeah.
a nice dough that you've carefully crafted, it might have slowly been fermenting for hours, if not days. You also don't want to overwork it and overhandle it. So to gently lower in here, done.
No.
Saving so much time, so
just
much
turned
energy, so that you can start adding the toppings.
It turned into
just
like
like
Luke
breakdancing.
Saber. Put.
I mean, do you want to try it?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yep, this is the Sermon Dough Roller. Practical and easy to use. Literally 1 button and 2 nozzles to do the thickness of roller. Otherwise, should do all the heavy lifting.
Should we press the...
Should we do it? Oh, yeah, is
do
that
it?
me? I've got a button.
Ooh. Okay, so there's a gauge on that side and then there's a gauge on this side.
And I think literally 1 to 7 is like millimeters. There's not a lot in it.
Okay.
And
What
we can do it.
thickness do we want, Chef?
Make it wide, maybe like a 7.
7. Max width. Okay.
7 at the top and maybe a 6 or 5 at the bottom.
Yeah. Shall we
Good to go, yeah.
flop her in?
Yeah, flop her in.
Ooh.
Done. Could you have rolled pizza by hand that thin, that quickly?
Absolutely not. Is
No.
it circular as well?
It is circular.
I mean, blink and you miss it.
That
That is
was
so satisfying.
that was rapid. Okay, I've got a 5 on the bottom.
Whoop. So I think it's very thin, it's all equally thin. The question would be how much it puffs up on the crust. Because it's going through one way, rolling onto this, and then the weight of that goes onto the second one, it stretches out one way and then stretches out the other way, so it becomes perfectly round.
I mean, you're using all the buzzwords that they put in their own description. It's consistent, it's speedy, it's even, it's a cold roll, so it's not going to change the properties if you're doing it by hand. You're literally putting your body heat into the dough and changing it. So, it is wonderfully consistent.
Should we make a pizza?
Yes!
Philly, while we've got you here, what's your pizza order and what should never go on a pizza, in your opinion?
I always order a margarita. I think a classic is best. And then...
Tequila, lime, plenty of ice, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Does fish belong on a pizza?
No.
Does pineapple belong on a pizza?
Oh, I have a guilty pleasure.
We were having a chat when we weren't rolling saying you should only ever need to order a margarita. If you've got a good margarita, you don't need any other toppings.
If the
I
dough's
agree.
good and those 2 toppings are great, a little bit of olive oil.
I was doing some research because I've got a little pizza oven and they were saying a little
Pizza
bit
chef over here.
of parmesan, and having tested with and without, it makes a huge difference.
Okay, there we go. All right, well,
There you go.
we'll test this out.
Should we go again just to make sure that that first one wasn't a fluke? Straight in.
Pop her in.
I mean, what's that? Not even 3 seconds.
Should we test how thin we can get it?
How thin you can get it will also be a factor of your dough choice, of course.
Should we go one more?
Yeah, why not? Here we go. Uh-oh, oh no.
It's like a tortilla wrap now. But it's worth pointing out there are other things you could push through this. Yes, it's built for pizza dough, but any other flatbreads from anywhere else in the world will also roll just as quick. And you could even be putting pastry through it because it will do a similar thing. Throw your pastry in one end, comes out flat to line tart cases or pies, so long as whatever you're rolling isn't going to stick to the machine.
Really thin.
She's really
It's great.
thin.
It's good dough. Really good pizza dough.
Thank you. I took it out of its wrapper yesterday.
You're spoiling us, Ebbers.
Salute.
And you've cooked our pizza.
Well, I love this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Saluti.
Saluti, if you're
Saluti.
Bellissimo. So it went onto a cold tray into a really hot domestic oven, so it's never going to do what a good pizza stone should do.
So maybe not a fair comparison.
Well, we're not testing the dough, we're testing the rolling.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's a completely even cook and even rolling.
It is, isn't it?
So the guy has done his job.
Obviously, not something you're going to have at home on your worktop,
No.
but good, not good.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Bit of a waste of time.
I think if you are making hundreds of pizzas,
That style as well, like the proper thin
Yeah.
crust.
if it was very thin and on a really busy restaurant, this could be excellent. And I have used them in pizza restaurants. So if you want something a little bit more artisanal, then maybe the hand stretched and getting a pizza chef might be a better option.
And that is, I guess, also different styles of pizza from different regions.
Exactly.
From Naples, that kind of hand-stretched sourdough puffiness versus a Roman style, a Tuscan style, or deep dish Detroit. All over the world, different pizza styles, but consistent,
Speedy.
Speedy.
Really fun to use again.
relatively quiet, well engineered. How much would one of these set you back, do you think?
Oh, I think it's a lot. It's very satisfying.
More than the last one.
Yeah, because the last one was 1,600.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2,000?
2,000.
2,000.
I agree. £2,000.
2,000.
Honestly, these guys would see you coming. £1,451.
We should have stuck it very similar to the first one.
Very similar to the last one. But the question is the gadget worth the dough or just a bit of a stretch?
I think it really depends on the restaurant that you're using it in. If you're doing a high volume restaurant, absolutely.
I'm going to go with the chef's opinion because, you know, what have I got to say about that?
I mean, on that basis, it would probably pay for itself in a month based on salaries.
Yeah, it would.
If it's going to do it that quick and that consistently and not mess around with the dough you spent ages making and proving. Would you like one more?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm intrigued by number 3. I have a sneaky suspicion you might have seen one before, Philly.
Ooh.
But let's see
Excellent.
what you think of our professional gadget number 3.
That was rubbish.
Yes.
You know
Yes,
what
with a
this
big
is.
smile. Why is that,
Yes.
Chef?
This is a PacoJet.
PacoJet 4.0, nonetheless.
Oh my gosh, it makes you go weak at the knees.
So that, I've only heard the phrase PacoJet in the context of a chef, then going weak at the knees. That's the most polite way I can say. Every time I hear it, it seems like the holy grail of chefs. They go, oh, a PacoJet. I don't know what it is. I think it's a big Ninja Creamy.
Philly, what does it do and why do you love it?
This is the Rolls Royce of ice cream blenders. So it's got this blade in the top, right underneath here. And have a look.
Oh yeah.
And it's magnetically attached. It comes off and then you just pop it on. Shoom. And this blends down into a really, really hard frozen ice cream and makes it the smoothest, creamiest ice cream ever. No ice crystals.
No need to churn, and we'll get on to how versatile with other things it is first. But should we start with a sorbet or ice cream? So we've given you a strawberry sorbet ready to go, but this is what they say. This is the secret to ultimate flavour sensations. Packetizing redefines traditional food preparation methods from scratch. This allows the food to shine in their purest, most natural form.
What do we do to get to this point before we start using this?
I blended up fresh ripe strawberries with a little bit of honey and some water and froze it solid like that.
So you've already blended something. This is going to re-blend it?
Yeah, I just stick blender and then passed it to get rid of the seeds. That's going to give us this version. We'll talk about lots of other options later on.
And what I think is quite important is how hard and solid this is. It's deep frozen. It's not just like a little... It's got to get to -18, I believe, to be able to actually blend it because the force of this blender is just so intense.
Is it the powerful mechanism that's so good about it? That's how it gets it that smooth? It's just...
Yeah. Shall we push it in?
Yeah,
Give it a
go.
And then it whirs away for a bit and tells you when it's done.
What's happened?
It's got some like fine little bubbles of where it's pacotized.
Okay, so it didn't do the whole lot. It just did
That's
two
quite cool.
portions.
So you could have freshly whipped sorbet for each order that comes on.
And then that just goes back in the freezer, so you're not doing the whole lot in case it's not being used.
Yeah. Oh,
Nope.
should we go again?
Oh, we might need to go again. There must be a sensor as well, because it's detecting when it's coming into contact with the sorbet. So from a complete heathen, what would be the process without this machine? Would you be freezing these things beforehand, or would you literally be churning them in an ice cream?
Churning it and then freezing it in vat.
Okay.
What you're doing is churning air into it. So this means you can have more portions in a smaller space.
What have we
Wow.
got?
A couple of spoons there if you just want to get chefy.
This is how you can now.
Okay.
We've got our beautifully whipped sorbet, and we've got a hot spoon with a nice little tip to it. You push it away,
So you're
bring
doing
it
it
towards
one-handed?
you. Yeah. On the back of the hand just to warm it up to release it, and then on.
Oh,
It's okay.
gosh, are you going to ask me to
I am going to
Sorry.
ask you to do it.
Hang on.
So,
away an angle like that?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, now flip, flip, flip.
Oh,
Other way.
one more time.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do. Whack it on the plate, never
whack it on
taste.
the plate. We're going to
Packetize.
look at the creaminess and smoothness of this sorbet.
Okay. It's so smooth.
All in the taste.
It's very smooth.
Wow, yeah, that is ridiculous.
And the difference is between that and using a more traditional churn method is you need less sugar to keep it smooth and stop it crystallizing, so you get more natural strawberry flavor and it's not artificially or overly sweet. But it means you can lean into fresh ingredients that are ripe and super seasonal
excellent.
and deliver on that. I think when you say Packagette, everyone thinks ice cream and sorbet, but there's plenty of other applications. Would you like to try some others?
Yes.
Yes.
More applications.
What would you want really smooth, like nut butters?
Go on, did you read my mind? These are cashews set in water.
Oh, okay. So you haven't even pre-blended these?
No. This is literally
okay.
just cashews thrown in with water. Now, part of the most recent version of Packagette, the 4.0, they changed it to clear containers. This means you can literally see what's in it, how much has been churned, and in this case, it's just cashews and water. So this time, make sure it's got the jet power because the nuts haven't been pre-blended, and obviously they're a bit firmer.
2 times?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's off.
And this comes back to what they were saying about letting ingredients shine. Obviously, you can add in sugar, you could add in some cinnamon into that water, you could add into any other ingredients, but this is just cashew nuts and water.
All right.
That was 2 times, was it?
Yeah, she was quick.
Oh, so quick. She was quick.
The other thing to remember is it's still frozen. Now, you don't often serve nut butter frozen. You would let it come to room temperature, but it's now going to be, in theory, perfectly smooth.
Look how smooth that is.
Okay,
From
fair.
whole nuts. Now, this is one of the first applications that I started to think about where you don't necessarily serve it frozen. We're going to taste
my
it
God.
frozen, and that's the result.
That is insane.
You've got me questioning
That is so thick.
I'm so smooth.
That's one of the smoothest things I've ever put in my
It's
mouth.
thick, it's rich, it's creamy, it's just so indulgent.
It's just nuts.
Would benefit from a pinch of salt, as a lot of nut butters have, maybe 1% salt.
I can't get over how
This is amazing.
phenomenal that is.
Well, it's pretty amazing. Would you like one more?
Yeah.
Yes!
So here's another thing that's brilliant about this machine, I think, is that you can basically make delicious products for free. These were limes that had already been squeezed for a drinks reception to make cocktails. This is just the whole pith and rind that's left from squeezed limes. Sugar syrup poured over, frozen solid. You'll get an incredible lemon or lime sorbet from what would otherwise end up in the bin. It's free.
We
Shall
love
I
to see
try?
it. Yeah,
So- shall I-
plug and play.
Unlike the last 2 machines, this is definitely desktop. It sits in the corner of the space you're operating in, whether it's a pastry kitchen full of all your sorbets and ice creams, or it could be the prep kitchen where you're making nut butters and pastes. You can blend chickpeas or lentils with sun-dried tomatoes, frozen solid, and you make incredible like hummus-like dips out of it that again are so smooth. In the restaurant I worked in years and years ago, we even used to make chicken liver parfait. So you make all the ingredients, you cook out the livers or all the reduction of alcohol, put it in, and it made the smoothest chicken liver parfait.
And you just freeze all of these things.
And then there's 0 waste because you're only ever using the portion you need. The rest is stored in the freezer.
Okay, we're nearly there.
You can see that there's almost like bits of lemon and lime, lemon zest and lime zest in there.
It's zested as well.
Specked into it. And if you take it out of the container, you can see, same as before, the bottom still hasn't been blended. It's literally just waste, rinds and pith that would otherwise be thrown away with a sugar water.
Oh, it is bitter, but it's
It is
nice.
bitter,
It's
but
actually quite pleasant.
It's almost like a preserved lemon.
Yeah, it has that pithy bite that on a sweet dessert
That's
would
quite
be really
fun.
quite lovely and refreshing.
Yeah.
But the Packagette, Swiss engineering, it is still top of its game, which is why it drives quite a high price. What do we think?
Now I know how much. This
Okay,
is,
right, so I'm
and
gonna see how close I can get.
I think it's pretty punchy.
I can't be more than £5,000, can it?
It can. Somewhere between £6,500 to £7,500, depending on which site you get it from. It's a lot of money. I learned a new word, amortization,
Oh, yes. When you
which
spread
is
it across-
basically the time it takes for it to pay for itself. So
Yeah.
a mortgage, for example, you might have over 25, 30 years. So it's amortization is 25 years. They reckon that in a busy restaurant, if you do use it, upcycle your waste to make products that are both for starter, main course and dessert plates, that its amortization rate could be less than a year. Because of the amount of money you save, the energy you save, the food waste you save, and the quality that you can serve.
I can't argue with 2 trained chefs who love it, but I tell you what, that nut butter was genuinely flabbergastingly good.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
That was one of the best things I've tasted all year.
Unfortunately, we only hired them, so they're coming to collect them tomorrow. But what do you guys think? Comment down below those 3 professional gadgets. Have you ever seen anything like them? Please give the video a like, and absolutely, while you're in the description box, go and click through to Chef Philly over on Instagram to see all her awesomeness. Thank you so much for joining us.